Hi there, I'm going to show you how to do your hair. I've got root growth here at the tips of my hair. So, at-home kits. This is the box I like the most. You take product number 1 and pull the cap off. Throw it away. I didn't do that. Like I already did that step. Number 2 comes in this packet. Loosen it up, cut it off, put it in here as much as you can. It often falls on the sides, but that's okay. Throw that away. And there's fumes in that powder, so you just kind of want to make sure that you're not like breathing close to the packaging. Then you just shake it. I'm shaking it side to side first, just to kind of let the powder get in first. And then I'll shake it up and down because a lot of times the powder gets up into the nozzle. Just still got in the nozzle, but that's okay. I'll still fix it. This is upkeep. This is like a normal thing. So it's coming out of the tip. So I'm going to take the tip off. And like set it, try to get it to go back down. Just cleaning out up here like that, putting it back in there. There's always messes, so it's just a matter of getting it worked out. But you want it to have a smooth, I'm just pushing the excess out. Just gonna put it back in. Let me show you what I'm doing here. I can't open it very good. Okay, these gloves make it hard to open things. Just taking that excess and putting it back in the bottle. So it can smooth out. Okay. We'll do it all over again. Shake it up some more. Get it in there good. And then it says, I think set 3. Let's see. Okay, and the shimmering lightning cream tube. So that's this. And I haven't done that part yet, so this way I could show you that. I've got this clear up here, so let's see if we can set up something. Just don't want to get bleach all over my phone. Okay. So I'll take that, put this in, and then take that. It's really hard for some reason to get that back in there. Okay. Put the lid back. Let's see, where can I get it to show me better? Turn this way so you can see that better. Taking this. Taking the lid off. It has a cover over it. It has a puncture lid. You see I did it focus on that. And you just take it top and just push a hole in it. You can throw that lid away. At the school, the beauty school, they tell you not to do box colors. And they're probably right. But this is what works for me. And it's the fastest choice for me. Like, I know fast isn't always the best choice, but that's the plane I live on. So I always live on like instant result gratification. I don't see results immediately. Anyway, so put that in there together. Screw the cap back on. There's still more excess stuff coming out. It does all the measuring for you, so it doesn't bother me so much. Some people have hair that will take to the product too much and it will burn the snot out of their hair. It happens. I've done this so much, so this is my go-to. You know, this is how I do it. So, and I spent like $100 going to a beautician to do this. Maybe even $200. I went to school for students to practice, and it was considerably less, like probably like $60 or so, or $40. Anyway, so this is, I'm going to step here where I can see it in the mirror, and I'm just going to start with the roots, just closest to the head. Bleach expands, so a lot of times when you do it for yourself, you can't always be sure that there's no tiger striping. But if you do it a lot by yourself, then oftentimes you know how to counteract making sure that you get knowing how much product you should have on your hair, how it should feel and stuff in different, making sure it's all saturated. I'm not rubbing the scalp with it. I'm just moving it into the hair. And I like to do the part that's framed around my face the most because, that's the part people see the most really is when you're walking up to them. You want that to be the best place. If it's going to look funky somewhere, let it be in the back, hiding somewhere where it's not so noticeable. Anyways, you get the point. So I'm going to just keep on moving this along. We'll be here forever if I show you every single stripe that I use. So I'll just keep doing this. I'm going to pause it and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end when I put it all in. Didn't pause it. Alright, so this is what I look like when I've gotten my roots done. But you can see that the edges are still dry because I'm not going to get the bleach on the end. It does because it's kind of a messy situation. So I'm going to take a cool cloth and wipe this all down, but I wanted to show you. It'll touch this stuff up, like the stuff that's been done before will become brighter, which is great. So it's kind of like giving it more luminance. Anyways, so now I just need to wait for this to become more white. It gets better when you use heat. I usually like to take a piece of aluminum foil and just put it on there over my head and run a heater or something, not a heater, a blow dryer over it to heat the scalp and activate the bleach or the peroxide treatment, and then it turns it white a lot better and you get better results from it. But it's fast, and again, it's it's a high processing. It's a high volume of processing. So like my hair might only need like a 10 or something, but this might be naturally like a 30 volume, so it should change it. Like you can already see that the roots are not dark brown anymore, which is good. But see this part, because it's coldest to the air, like it's not got other hair covering it and heating it, so it's like brown here. So if I put aluminum foil over that, heated it up here, it would turn white. Same here, and then like back here behind my ears, this is the part that I think doesn't change. Like it's warm hair, but for some reason, like right here, this part of my neck stays brown. You can see it's a little bit brown. I've done this so many times. My hair is blonde through this length, and I've even cut my hair earlier this year about 2 inches off, and it's just from upkeep, and each time I get hair growth,
I line it again. So this is probably 6 or 7 Feria boxes, which I know I bleached the crap out of my hair, but that's what, you know, that's what I want to do. You know, bleached blonde hair is something that was kind of in the 90s, and I like it. So one of my favorite YouTubers has bleached blonde hair, so it makes me even more excited that my hair is blonde too. I've had it blonde for a while, so I didn't like copy her, but I'm so inspired that she's like me. So it's Trisha Paytas. I like watching her. She's fun. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. I gotta take these gloves off so I can turn the video camera off because I've already got some chemical on it. And go get some aluminum foil, put it on my hair. So here we go. I've got a package of wipes here. I'm going to actually take cool water and run it over this, and use that to wipe my head off. And let's see, it's like it's nice, cool down. The cold and the wet is supposed to kind of stop the charging of the bleaching. And okay, anywhere else that I might have gotten it, I got it down here. Okay, and my shoulder. Okay, and now I've got my aluminum foil. Probably should have use a large piece so I can wrap my fingers. Just put this in a bun. I was thinking I wouldn't, but I'm going to, so I can keep all the dry, already dead hair, except that would kind of stop. No, it wouldn't do it. Okay. Here's what I do. Take the aluminum foil, wrap it around my head. It's sticky, so I can. The only thing is it gets really hot under my ear, so I just need to make sure that my ear is not stuck in it too much. And I've got product on my ear, so I'll get that off of there. Okay. Take that down, and on the other side. And I don't need to do this for too long because I can see it's already super active. It's like already changing the color and lifting or breaking down that pigment so well already. But I really, really just want to make sure, see, this will be a spot that probably doesn't color super well. When it's all dried out and everything, it'll probably look okay. The other side's fine. It looks like this side's bleak, like this side is, you know, white enough, but this side looks a little bit darker. All right, and now I've got my blow dryer. I know it's weird as can be, but whenever I've gone to like salons and stuff and my hair wasn't the processor that they had used, might have been a 10, which is probably safer for my hair. It took longer to change out, so they always put me under a heat thing, and I was under there for like an hour. But something about having a better volume processor. I'm not really sure what the volume processing is on this, but I heard that that's part of the reason that places don't want you to use box colors, because you don't really have control over how intense the product is that you're using. So I got it on low, and I'm going to put it on hot. Probably warm. It'll warm it up fast though, so I'll just keep it on low, and it will start to heat my hair up. And most of the time when I get tiger stripes, it's literally like right here, got this last part, and that's just because it's really hard to reach. I rarely ever get tiger stripes in the mohawk right region here or on the sides, because I want to make sure that if I'm, you know, if you're seeing me, you can you know, it doesn't look like there's a lot of problems with my bleaching. I've never had anyone come up to me and say, hey, do you bleach your hair yourself though? Like, it looks like it. I mean, all that brassiness. I've learned how to counteract brassiness. It's a big deal. I do not like brassy yellow hair. Oh my gosh. We're just heating this up, getting the heat to just really, really saturate in the moisture parts of the hair, just the roots mostly. And this will really, really help, like the strand parts. I didn't put too much on the strands because that's already been bleached, but it will really give it a revived look. So, anyways, this is how I do it. And then we'll just sit and wait. I guess we could do some story time while we're waiting if you want to do that. That would be fine. Get this side, I'm going to get down here, make sure it's tightened up so that it's trapping the heat. There we go. And then I'll show you. So what happens after I do this and the waiting time is over, you're supposed to wait between 40 and 60 minutes for roots. So there's 4 steps altogether. This is the 4th step. Anti-brass conditioner. It smells really good, but it's not as brassy as not as anti-brass as I'd like it to be. Especially because I'm not really good at washing my hair in cold water. You're supposed to wash it in cold water if you bleach it a lot. I keep washing it in hot water, so it gets brassy quickly. So I'm constantly doing these. I'll show you the stuff I use. I left it in my room. I have to grab it, but I'm going to finish heating up my hair here so I don't have to come back and reheat it in a minute. Anyways, this is how I do an at-home bleaching kit in case you want white hair or in case you want to color your hair a totally different color. You have to bleach your hair in order to receive the pigment you want, like the blue color. Like you have to take out some pigment if you have brown hair or red hair, something that would counteract whatever color you want if you're wanting a gold color. So you have to start by scratch by making the hair white by taking out, shattering all the pigment, and then adding a new pigment to it. So you want turquoise hair, blue hair, or whatever. This is like, you don't have to take this last step, but you would have to take the shattering pigment step. Getting that out of your hair. Alright, I think this is warm enough. Try and come in the back. And really paying a lot of attention to this part, the crown. Really want to get the nape of the neck area. Just making sure. I can tell it's trapping that heat up there, so I won't keep it in too long. I'll keep checking on it too. Alright. I'm going to go grab the purple shampoo or purple conditioner. I want to show you what I'm. Okay, I'm back and my hair is still warm. I can tell, and I've checked underneath. I could see that it's really lightening just like I want it to at the roots. And this is some of the first applications, so of course it's going to be like the best. So we're still going to spend a few more minutes working on this, like letting it sit and stay activated. This is my favorite anti-brasser, and it says keep it in your hair for 5 to 10 minutes. It's obviously a conditioner, isn't it? I treat it like, I put it in my conditioner sometimes. I'll wash my hair, but it's got linseed oil and blue direct dyes, and I can tell that the pigment that there's like, let me show you. I can tell that the molecules of pigment that they have in this are really small. And it really penetrates the follicles of your hair, especially if you've got hot water. It really does a job. And it will make your hair, like I want to show you. And you've seen purple shampoo like that, like they have at Sally's and stuff. But this stuff, you don't need to do shampoo and conditioner. You just only need this. Let's see if I could show you on this napkin how pigmented it is. This is, you see how tiny that little dot is? and you could see like how intense that is. Anyways, the molecules, you could see that the molecules are super tiny and pigmented. It gets inside of the follicles of your hair, especially if you're using hot water where you're blowing the follicles up, so it gets a chance to penetrate into the shaft of your hair, and then creates your hair to look silver if you keep it in too long. But this stuff that comes with the Faria, let me show you what color this is. And then we'll show you why it doesn't work as well, because it's not made to take away the yellow as much. Like, it's just such a sweet, gentler version of brassing or debrassing. Oh, I can't open this. Sorry, I know, moms, I know, I'm sorry. Don't use your teeth to open that stuff. Anyways, just by looking at it, you can see it is a light lavender lotion. It smells good. I mean, like, I have to give you the benefit. You have to be honest here. This conditioner is amazing. It feels great, and you're only supposed to use it once a week, which I hate. I just wiped it on here. You could see, if you could see besides the purple that I put on there. It's right here. Anyways, I'm not sure that that's going to touch your hair much, but it smells good and leaves your hair that you have just killed feeling pretty good. Like, pretty manageable after having burnt everything and ripped the follicles apart, or ripped your hair shafts apart. So I decided that while we're waiting, I wanted to kind of talk about books I've been reading, just because I'm a book fanatic. I like have a huge collection of books, and I haven't read them all. But every time I like go to Goodwill, I pick up like a couple of books, you know, and I have favorite artists or authors, and I'll hear about another author, and I'm like, I've got to find out more about them, and I'll get into the book and stuff, but I get really busy, so I don't get to finish as many books as I'd like, but I get into the meat of some of the books, and so I just really, really love getting some insight on artists, or authors. I keep calling them artists. They are artists because they're being creative. So this book I've had for a long time. I found this like 4 years ago, and my last name is Beck, so I thought that was really funny, but it's a cognitive way of approaching eating. And when I first was reading it, I was carrying it. Look, I still have some of my cards from when I had lost weight. I lost 80 pounds off of this book, and controlling mind over matter type mindset of eating. And I've never gotten back to that place again. A few things happened, and it's a little bit, I don't know, there's throwing shade involved with that, so I don't want to go there, but I don't want to throw shade at anyone. But it just kind of sabotaged some things. So that one, I just loved that her last name was Beck, and then I loved that she was cognitive. It was like psychological approaches to eating, and it was really awesome. And I literally, for over a year, was on a diet, lost 80 pounds. I was 155 pounds at my lowest. Now I'm back to 225 or something like that. So I gained it all back. We were kind of living on pantries for a while. Like, if you go to food donation places, a lot of times they just give you what is donated to them, and you can't be picky. So we were constantly eating as a family, like pastries, because that was like the biggest donation was from bakeries, like, so white breads and carbohydrates and all that stuff. So that's kind of been my relapse to my eating issues, and I have just never really delved back into that book again, and I just really haven't had the desire, because I just felt like I worked so hard to lose all that weight just to be back to square one again. And I don't know, there was a lot of starving involved. Like, literally, my body was shutting down. I didn't fart for a year. People don't believe me. They don't believe me, but I'm telling you, it was like if I did, it was really rare. And so, like, seriously, I'm like blushing now, but because I know that's like a crazy topic, but you know, your body's shutting down if you're not farting. Like, you should be farting. Like, that's a way to, you know, help yourself out to not be bloated. But I was living off of spinach and Progresso soup, and I really had this powerful mind over matter approach to eating at the time, and I seriously lost so much weight, and I was healthy, and well, I was skinny, I don't think I was healthy, just like, because I didn't eat the right things and stuff. I just didn't feel hungry. I think it was very similar to when I had lost all that weight. I think it's similar to a ketone type of diet. So, because I wasn't eating carbs, I was eating vegetables and meat and broth, and that was it. And my intake was so small. And okay, so there's that. The next book is Loving What Is by Byron Katie. And I had already been introduced to the work, which is what she teaches, like, you know, how to look at the way someone's behaving. If you're watching how someone's behaving and you're judging them, then you're not, like, judging yourself. You're not watching yourself. You're not, you know, and everything that you're thinking at some, you know, bystander oftentimes is just a reflection of how you're feeling of yourself. And I love that. So when I found this, and then I saw samples of the work, because I did a class where the work was done for me, where I went through an issue and worked on a couple of the issues that I was stressed out about of other people. I'm like, this person's making me so mad or whatever. And did some of the work on, you know, one or two different things. So I couldn't remember exactly what questions you ask. There's 4 questions you ask in the work, and that's in this book. And so there's some samples of it here of people that were stressed out with someone else, the way they behaved, and how it helps you have a better, when you can just let go of thinking that somebody should act a certain way. So I really, really like that book. And then this book here, I really love this book, and I keep going back to it every time my house starts getting dirty and I'm not keeping up to the challenge of tidying my house every day, the life-changing magic of tidying up. Now, it doesn't stay with you all the time. I don't think, unless you practice it all the time, which some people do. I don't. I easily learn a lesson and then I forget and then I have to relearn it. So, but I love this book, and right now, I think that the funniest part was that there's 2 things you need to do. First of all is have one great big, like, organizational party. Like, you're going to, like, declutter and get rid of junk. Like, you know, you're going to just plan to do it. And there's certain ways, the best ways, you know, organizing based on topics like clothes rather than per room, because a lot of people don't recognize how much clothing they have because they have it scattered throughout different rooms. So they just, like, so per topic, per, like, clothes or dishes or books, you know, one at a time. Like, one day you'll do clothes, one day you'll do books. And you just go through your house and you collect it all. And, you know, then you know, anyways. So you bring them all together and then you consolidate it all. And then you disperse it however it is. Like, if it's too much, it's not something that you're feeling like you love, and it's time to part ways with it and let someone else have it or something. That kind of thing. The second part of tidying up is remembering to be somebody who puts things back. She was saying that 90% of us are people who don't put things back. If our house is not tidy, it's because we just failed to put something back when we've used it. Crayons, you know, papers, dishes, all that stuff. So getting into the art of putting things back, putting the art or the habit of putting things back. And even if you forget to be a habited, like, have the habit of putting things back, then you go back to this book and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm not remembering to put things back. So, like, those are the 2 basic values that I think are in this book that I just love reading it because it gets me motivated to start cleaning and tidying up and trying to organize my home. And you know, and she's like, you know, do one big organizational party, 1 or 2 days, and just totally clean your house and downsize stuff, you know, things that aren't serving you anymore. If you still have your military clothes from 20 years ago, I don't know, unless you're holding on to it for memory or something. Some people have that kind of connection. I wouldn't. Like, if I still have my military clothes, they would have been long gone just because I wouldn't fit in them anymore. And there's really no event I would ever wear them at right now. So, like, I would just be like, get rid of those. And, you know, old sweaters or something. Or, like, if you go out and buy an ugly sweater for one particular Christmas party, but then you're never going to wear it again, and you're going to want to use a different sweater the next year. If you're trying to win competition, you don't want to go in with the same thing. So anyways, that's just kind of where we're at. But those are 3 of my books I'm reading right now, but I've got like a whole bunch of them, and a lot of them are like how to, like, T. Harv Eker, like Millionaire Mind, and, oh, come on, what's his name? The guy with big teeth, Tony Robbins. Got some of his stuff. Jack Canfield, like a lot of self-help type books that are like help you be strong mentally and all of that stuff. So maybe I'll do another one when I've at least gotten through the meats of these books again, and I'm moving on to something else. But I have a really cool book I'd like to show you guys sometime. It's pretty interesting, but that'll be for another show. Anyways, I think that this is probably ready to, look how white that is. I think we're probably ready to rinse out. What do you think? Does it look like it? Hello, madam. Hello, sir. I think so. So let's go ahead and rinse this sucker out. I'm going to blow dry it afterwards, and I'll give you the final results of how it looks, and we'll see you in just a few minutes. Okay, so I'm trying to find a higher place to put this so you can see my hair. This is after I rinsed it out. So it bleached those colors perfectly like I wanted it to. Let me find a place to set it so I can blow dry it and you can see what's going on. See how it lifted the roots? My skin on my, all you could see is the piggy pink flesh. So that's what we were looking for. We wanted it white. We didn't want to have brown growth. So let me find a place to put this phone so I'm not like holding it and shaking and a lot. And I'll grab my blow dryer and we're going to blow dry on low heat, maybe cool. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Anyways, I have a fan here. Maybe that's what I could do is just have the fan rolling. See this fan right here? I know, messy. Don't look at my dresser. A fan that can run cool air while I'm administering low heat. That's what I think I'll do. All right, let me find something to put this on, and I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so this is the Feria bleaching kit from Walmart, and this was the results I got, and I just happened to not put enough. I probably didn't leave the debrasser in my hair long enough, but it looks white. It looks pretty, I mean, it's like super glistening compared to what it was, and I'm really happy about that. I think we could have anti-brassed a little bit more, but I'm happy with the overall results, and that's why I usually go to Feria. Like, there isn't usually another brand. Sometimes I do Revlon. Sometimes there's is Feria Clairol too, or is it, I can't remember. There's, I think, 3 go-tos, but my favorite is Feria because it did its job. So, that's how you do a bleaching, and if I didn't have any bleach already in my hair, I would have done overall all of it, like put all of it in from strands to head first or scalp. But anyways, that's the bleaching, and I hope you had a good time watching me do the steps, so you can do it too if you want to have your hair defragmented so that you can put color in it, or just have white hair or platinum hair or yellow hair or just lighter hair, something like that. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, that's okay. Thumbs down, or thanks for sticking around this long, because I know that's quite some endurance to watch something for this long without having any interest in it. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys, and don't forget to hit subscribe too and see what's coming up next. Take care.